You know, I just want to say, my favorite servant in Fate Grand Order is Boudica. I think she's got potential. Could use a new artist though, maybe an Avenger form. I'd be down for that. Hey, you want me to make an Avenger Boudica? Be right back. I got you covered.
Hey there nerds, Fino here with a look at the resplendent Emperor herself, Nero Claudius. She's pretty busy, but if she decides to take time off running tournament arcs and being pleasured by FGO's riders, you'll find a servant who's clunky and archaic, but with a distinct kind of power. Let's take a closer look. Nero's first skill is Migraine. It gives mental debuff resistance and some health capping at 2k. With a 5-turn cooldown, you can spam it on top of Imperial Privilege. However, it's not terribly impactful on its own. But later on, it gets upgraded into Cup of Wealth, which gives between 20 and 30% meter. It also gains an arts buff on specific fields, but that's not relevant for general usage. The battery upgrade is quite nice, so you might be able to use Nero as a first wave Lancer killer once she gets it. Skill 2 is Imperial Privilege. This damn thing. It has a guaranteed heal component, but the real draw is a pair of attack and defense buffs that cap at 44%. 3-turn duration on a 5-turn cooldown. That's a good chunk of stats. But there's a catch. The attack and defense buff each have a 60% chance of succeeding. Almost half the time, you're gonna miss the buff you want. Until Migraine gets buffed, IP is the skill you want to level, as Nero has a lot of her power tied to it. Skill 3 is Invictus Spiritus. It gives her 3 guts procs for 5 turns. Multi-guts is a very rare property. Heracles has it, but it's tied to his Bond craft essence. Nero has it on a skill, which means she can equip event damage CEs and other aggressive picks. On the other hand, purging NPs like Rulebreaker can kill her outright, so there's your trade-off. Nero's noble phantasm is Laus St. Claudius. It's an AoE arts attack with defense-ignoring properties. It has defense reduction tied to overcharge, but it only lasts for a single turn. Effective usage would mean putting it after non-damaging NPs, but before damaging ones and regular attacks. Pretty simple otherwise. Team building with Nero isn't a terribly complex affair, as her kit has relatively few synergies of note, being geared towards self-sufficiency. For this reason, I'll keep things simple. Nero's natural durability makes her a good combo with characters that can increase her tankiness. Mash is a no-brainer as she can give 50% defense by herself. Combined with a successful IP defense proc, that's 94% defense. At that point, Nero can straight up tank NPs. Tamamo gives additional healing, delays enemy NPs, makes yours more frequent, and gives you shorter cooldowns on Nero's heals. And finally, we'll get Idolmaster's Anastasia during Lost Belt 3, not to be confused with the actual Anastasia from Lost Belt 1. Lanling has a synergistic deck in class and a special skill that increases buff success rate. With this, you can reasonably expect Imperial Privilege to do its damn job. He also has party-wide damage reduction, which is strong in combination with other defensive buffs. Nero's self-sufficiency and multiple guts makes her a strong finisher when you get her alone on the field. The only problem is that she can't bust her Brave Chain, but otherwise she's very stubborn and she can actually go multiple turns without losing procs. Assuming good RNG, of course. Just treat her like an anti-Lancer Heracles in this scenario. You want to live forever? Well, now you can, with the power of healbots. Media Lily has a heal amp, Nero has like a billion heals, and Miu has this weird, janky Garden of Avalon knockoff. It's a lot of sustain. The cherry on top is twofold. First of all, Miu increases buff success, so you can abuse Imperial Privilege in this meme of a team. Second, Media Lily gets an upgrade that gives her third skill buff Purge Resistance, so the heal amp that you're gonna put on Nero anyway now counters her big Achilles heel, getting her guts removed. Now the big drawback to this approach is that your team has no way of dealing with NPs, which relegates it to a narrow set of debuff-centric fights. Craft essence-wise, Nero has some very interesting options. Golden Sumo is the most interesting, of course, but if you're tired of perfection, try out Maid in Halloween. Nero has a lot of relatively low cooldown heals, and Maid in Halloween amplifies their effectiveness dramatically, 75% limit broken. Defensive CEs play nice with Imperial Privilege, and Iron Will training is the default pick here. However, finisher builds can exploit short duration, high magnitude effects, like you see on Codecast and, when relevant, Versus. These can give you substantial damage and defense, increasing the value of Nero's many lives. Finally, there's Belle of the Upper Echelons, which increases buff success rate. The magnitude is nothing special, but sometimes you'll be in a situation where you want Nero as a finisher, but your party's deployment is tied up elsewhere. You can run this to smooth out your cost while retaining some value. A successful IP proc is worth quite a bit. Command codes are a ways off, but you should remember Good Wife Wise Fox. It gives a one-time heal amp when you attack with a specific card. It has a lot of synergy with Nero, and what's the drawback? She has to wear a weird Tamamo crotch tattoo? I'd take that deal any day. Overall, Nero has a powerful kit, but one with notable drawbacks. She's durable and hits hard, but a lot of her power is tied to Imperial Privilege. When it goes off, you're golden, but when it misses one or both procs, you're fucked. This inconsistency means that sometimes she stops being a hero and turns into Charlie Brown, with an ass window. On top of this, her skill set is very selfish in nature, which makes her self-sufficient but rarely the optimal pick outside of her finisher role. As your account's power grows, you may find her warming the bench more often than not. You might trot her out for a 3-turn Lancer clear or a boss fight, and that's plenty valuable, make no mistake. Just remember that her role is highly tactical. I wouldn't necessarily go hunting for a copy, but if you pull one, take good care of her. Nero might save your ass someday, and put a window on it. This servant guide was made thanks to a sub goal that I hit on Twitch. If you want to drop on by, I stream every weekend, Friday through Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific. See you there.
Hey, listen guys, if you like what I did, if you like what I do on this channel, be sure to drop a like and fucking ring that bell for more Umu Roma action, dude. I got you covered, boy. Oh, God. I'm losing my fucking mind.